Um, yeah, so I saw you on the Hoopside chats um, on one of the podcasts a couple of months ago, and I heard what you were saying about
Mhm.
your coaching experience. So I thought it would be good to chat to you as well. And it seems
Oh,
like
nice.
from your messages you have an interest in the strength side of Quidditch as well, um,
Yes. Yeah.
which I think is important because, yeah, as I said, it's such a huge factor of the game. Yet there are so many people that don't really
Yeah.
aren't really confident in the training aspects of it. Um, so I think my first
Mhm.
question is, how important a factor do you think strength training is for Quidditch?
Um, Personally, me and run my team, it's quite fast, strong, and physical. I know a lot of players in Quidditch don't like to get hit,
Yeah,
so I tell my team, "You're strong, hit them, keep hitting them till they want to get hit no more." Like, yeah, so I definitely do take a lot of push into strength and being very physical.
yeah, you're a man after my own heart. Um, and so, is that something that you actively train as a team, or is it something that you expect players to do in their own time?
It's a little bit of mixture of both. When we're able to be together, then we work on that. But for the most part, we're kind of spread out, so everyone works individually as well. Usually, people will post different workouts they do in the gym, or they'll have different group chats and talk about different accomplishments that they're doing in the gym. So it's a mixture of both.
Okay, yeah. So that's something our team have been doing as well. We have a thread in our group chat, and we try to motivate each other. We post whenever we do. Maybe we go out on a run or go to the gym.
Mhm.
We found that quite useful as motivation. So what kind of things are your players
Oh
doing?
yes. Uh, I mean, I would say for a good part of the team, we kind of trash talk each other. Not in a way of being mean to each other, but like we just kind of set a bar. Say someone hit a certain weight in bench or run a certain speed, and they post it, and then uh, everyone is pretty competitive. So everyone's like, "Well, I can beat that, or I can compete with that." Yeah, I say it's a pretty strong competitive spirit amongst the players.
Yeah, that's good. And so, do you have certain benchmarks that you look for your players to reach in terms of weights and speeds, like you mentioned?
Not a little bit here recently. Some of the guys on the team joked about doing a 1,000 pound club, where it's like your bench, squat, and deadlift to equal up to 1,000 pounds or more. Uh, we kind of joked about it here and there, but we haven't really done it. I know some of the beaters they do a it's a fitness. It's kind of like a fitness gym. It's called Orange Theory. So they do classes there, and so they kind of like share their recordings from the fitness gym and kind of like see how they stack up against each other and try to improve and whatnot.
Okay. And is that um, has that come about by accident, or do you
Um,
have like group training sessions like in the gym or what have you?
yeah, so I guess the interesting thing about our team is that we are spread out. So like I'm one of the ones here in Atlanta. I have some down in Florida, some in Carolina. So we're kind of spread out. So
Yeah.
we do have quite a bit of individual workouts, but I think it's just the team as a whole wants to get better and wants to produce, and the goal is to win the championship, of course. So it's pretty much everybody knows to put in that hard work to get to that point to be able to compete for the championship when it comes around.
Hmm. And so, do you know if the other top teams are doing a similar thing, or is this something that you guys do just to put yourself on that other level?
No, yes. So, yes, a lot of the top teams do have pretty somewhat intense workout schedules. I remember one guy who played at University of Texas, the college. He spoke that they had weekly practices, maybe 2, 3 practices a week. They had film sessions where they watched film and they did weights. So yeah, a lot of the top teams are out here, and it's an understanding that to compete at the top level over here, you have to have some sense of physical strength for the most part, just because it's a very physical, dominant game with tackles and yeah, it's kind of an understanding that to be at that top tier, you have to have some type of athleticism or physicality, or you just gotta be very good position.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it seems like that's probably one of the reasons why the States is on a completely different level to the UK, domestically and internationally. Um, because I think while we do have the same level of, well, we have a good level of motivation in terms of what
Mm-hmm.
we are doing in our teams, it pales in comparison. Um, so touching on the national side, so obviously you were one of the US players,
Yes.
um, and so did your training on a domestic level differ from what you do when you train with the US national team?
Um, Not so much. It was still pretty much the same type of training. For the most part, half the players on there I've played with them before, so I kind of knew what to expect. I did pick up endurance quite a bit. Just do more as far as endurance goes, because as far as me, I mostly focus on like a lot of sprints and stuff. But I did pick up more on endurance. Um, but yeah, for the most part, it stayed the same. Yeah, I try to keep a pretty well balance of upper and lower body type workouts, so it's a pretty even body build. Try not to do so much more in one area.
Mm. And so what do your workouts look like?
Uh, Man, typical gym week. I'm sure I probably do more than your average Quidditch player, probably more than a lot of players. But I can just do a Monday and Tuesday. So Monday I go into the gym. It is bench press. I do like dumbbell bench, shoulder shrugs, upright rolls, uh, shoulder presses. Then I do like another set of chest presses, uh, another set of like shoulder raises, abs, pull ups. It's pretty intense.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's for me, especially for me, it's pretty intense for sure.
yeah. That sounds like quite an intense upper body workout. And then so do you do that just for yourself, or is it for being able to be better at Quidditch?
Both. I do it for myself and to be better. So I guess you could say my mindset is I train I train as though I'm playing in a game. So that way when I hit that level of being tired in the game, I don't I don't feel it as much. I can push myself harder in games. Where the average player, probably about like the second, third game, they're tired or they're dragging. That way my body is still going at top level. I can still get the sprints and fight off tackles and do this and do that.
Okay. And so has your training always looked like that? And if not, are there any specific things that you do in the gym where you've seen a benefit on pitch? Like any go-to exercises?
Um, stretching is so important.
Yeah.
Stretching definitely helps. I would say have a mixture of both heavyweight and lightweight. That helps out quite a bit because you want your fast twitch muscles to be just as good as your pure dominant strength. But I also have a thing where kind of like, say for tournaments, I have a particular process. So if we have a tournament in 3 weeks, those 3 weeks out, the first 2 weeks I'll kind of work out normal, but the week, a couple days before game week, I'll kind of go lightweight, and then that week of the tournament, I lift no weights and kind of let my body just take time to heal up and relax.
Yeah, I'm the same. So I would usually deload probably the week of the competition, um, and then afterwards
Hmm.
I'd start up very lightly. But usually that's because it's forced, because I've picked up so many knocks during the tournament. But yeah, I have found that the stretching side of things really does help to speed up recovery afterwards. But yeah, it sounds like a good method to go for. Um, and so my next question is, do you come from a particular sporting background?
Yes, so in school, for sure, kind of that intensity and physicality into the sport, but also that's part of my training process. I work out as though I'm going to play football. I pretty much treat it the same way, same regimen, same processes, and I mean it's worked so far. Of course, I'll always try to learn and adapt and try new workouts. I try not to let my body get used to anything. I try to keep it new and fresh so my muscles can keep growing. But yeah, I'll say football and basketball has been like the major pushes and like influence on workouts that I do.
Okay. And what position did you play? Because I'm trying to develop a program which looks at different aspects of sports, and I've come across a few football programs at collegiate level, and
Hmm.
some of them are quite specific between like the O line and the D line, the different workouts they do.
Yes.
And so yeah, I'm just trying to look at what is the best way to go for like a general Quidditch player.
Yeah. So I would say if you're looking at that, you want to look at your wide receivers, your defensive backs, running backs, most of skill and your skill positions. Not so much as your O line and D line because that's a more slower physical thing. But yeah, a lot of the speed and quick positions. Um, not so much as quarterback because quarterback is a little bit different, but
Mm.
definitely receivers, wideouts, running backs, safeties, cornerbacks, or defensive backs. Yeah, that's those are ones you really want to look at.
Yeah. So when I've been trying to break down the actual fundamentals, so like the throwing or the various specific aspects of the game, that's where I found quarterback really useful. But yeah, I agree in terms of
Yes,
like an overall physical approach, like running backs
yes.
and wide receivers have played a big part.
Yeah. Yeah, and even on the throwing, yes, I would say quarterbacks or even baseball pitchers because their throwing motion is. I have a few players who play baseball and their throwing is pretty good. They had a long history in baseball, so baseball, the pitchers and the quarterbacks are somebody or people to look at because I was over in Europe for a week and a half and I practiced with a team in Toulouse, France, and they were really fascinated by how I threw the ball because they never really understood the throwing motion of like throwing over the body. So
Yeah.
that makes a big difference. Makes a huge difference.
Mm. And what position did you play in basketball?
I played point guard and shooting guard. Um, so that I would say, if anything, that helps. I played quarterback in football and point guard and basketball, so that kind of helped with knowledge of the game and kind of being able to read defenses and offenses and seeing the field as a whole and making those passes and just kind of being an instructor and kind of running the game how I would like it to be ran and uh, just certain aspects of what comes with those leadership roles.
Okay. So it was the mental side as well, not just the physical side.
Mm, yeah, the mental, yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, I do think that having a good physical base to be able to start from in Quidditch is extremely vital. But then there are so many other intangible things that you just need to learn from experience. So things like coordination and reflexes. It's not really something you can directly work on in the gym. Um,
Yes, that's true.
so what kind of things would you tell your players to help them improve with those kind of things like coordination and technique?
Um, so are, I would say there is particular workouts that you can do, like certain one leg balance things that you can do to help with your balance on your legs. I know like certain drills, like your ladder, you can get like a little ladder. You can do ladder drills, or you can even look at soccer and use certain footwork drills that they do. Um, I haven't done any, but I have thought of using like even look at different things that goalies do. Goalies have certain drills they do for reactions on being
Mm,
able to move in certain positions and move around. Yeah, honestly, I just look at any sport or any different workouts I can find online and kind of see how they work those reaction drills out, because that is probably one of the more complicated things to work on is your reaction and the quickness of hands and feet. That is something more difficult to work on.
yeah. So you can make your body stronger and faster in the gym, but
Right.
when it comes to reactions, that is something that you just need to learn. Uh, something
Yeah.
that something that we have done in our club, specifically for the beaters, is we have kind of like a firing line. So there'd be one person
Hmm.
with the back to a group of maybe five or six in a semicircle, and then they have to turn around and then in a random order they'll get beats thrown at them, and it's their job to then react quickly and try to catch as many as they can. Um,
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
yeah, so I think there are some things you can do, but again, it just comes down to practice and experience.
Yeah. That's something that's something that I learned myself from playing the sport. Me starting off, I was a very again I was came from football, so it's like I'm quicker than most, I'm stronger than most, so I'm just gonna run through everybody. And you quickly learn you can only run through so many people till you get tired. So you need to add more things to your uh, to your skill set, of course. So I started picking up learning how to actually shoot, how to that changed a lot. Is learning how to properly shoot the ball and not just focus on dunks and driving through people. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's quite a bit.
and especially because it's such a relatively new sport, the tactics are
Hmm.
changing year on year. And I imagine the game will be unrecognizable in a few years' time.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so from like a tactical perspective, what do you do when, let's say two different scenarios, when you're the most physically, you're a better physical team than the other? Would you just try to use that to its full stability, or look at other ways around it, or and also conversely,
Um,
when you're facing a much more physical team than you?
It's strategy. I always, even though we might be one of the more physical or most physical, it's still strategy is one of the most important things. If it's possible to keep a team guessing and keep them on their toes and make them uncomfortable, then continue to do that. Again, the physical part you can get that easy. The strategy is a little bit more difficult, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you can out strategize a team, then everything else is easy. It's not much to it. So I definitely rely on strategy a lot.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Um, and so, what would you say for players that do kind of struggle with the physical aspect of the game? Um, they're being expected to play in a fashion that is quite physical, which is the fundamentals of Quidditch, really. What tips do you have for that maybe weaker
Um,
player?
I would say I would say that's you just play smart, be smart. Know your strength and know your weakness, and play to your strength. Don't try to if you know you're not as physical. Don't try to out muscle someone who you know you can't. It's not even worth taking the risk of getting hurt. But
Yeah.
definitely playing to your strengths. Like if you know you're quicker or I might have to work around this. Definitely play to that rather than trying to like out man or yeah, running through a brick wall is you can't do it. You can't run through a brick wall. So try to find a way to either get around it or slowly break it down piece by piece.
Okay. And then, so what are the physical attributes that you look for players to improve on? If there were like two or three key ones that you could tell a new player to work on, what would they be for Quidditch?
Uh man, even my team, even some players on my team, I say struggle with this. One of the key, most important things because they teach it to you football is if you're getting tackled or if you're tackled, keep moving your legs. The moment you stop your legs, momentum is done and you're most likely going to get tackled. If
Mm,
someone is wrapping you up, just keep driving your feet. Keep driving your feet. That's uh, a big part about it. Or you can spin. If someone grabs you, drive your feet, spin off of it. I would say pushing. Like especially for chasers, if someone is on them, I know you can kind of move arms and whatnot. I've seen a lot of people get physical and with your arms, but yeah, just trying to avoid as much as contact as possible. Only go into the physicality or contact if you need to. Don't waste. Don't have like how can I explain it? So don't move without purpose. That's something else that I talk about a lot. Is every step needs to be somewhat calculated. Like it makes no sense to move in a direction and you just wasting energy.
yeah. Oh, I think you muted yourself. I think you might, Quincy?
What else?
Oh,
Hmm.
there you go. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
you
No,
just
somebody
muted.
somebody was calling in. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
yeah. But I was just speaking on just moving with purpose. Definitely, that's an important part. So many times I see players just kind of run around the field, and it's not helping anything. And it's just if you're gonna move with purpose. But yeah, yeah. That's for the most part. That's what I can think of right now.
Mm. And do you have any players that you could recommend to watch who are good at the evasive side of the game, like avoiding that contact?
Hmm. Uh, I'm trying to think. I would say a lot of the, in general, a lot of the Northeast teams, at least in the states, a lot of Northeast teams, they're good at spreading out the field, making a lot of passes, uh, taking as little contact as possible. So you're looking at like I would say the Warriors. Uh, is it Warriors, Bosnian Quidditch, Boston, all those teams up there in that region. Even you can look at MLQ. You can look at the Boston Knight Riders or the New York Titans. All those teams are very similar. They're all a lot the same players, but the North, I'll say Northeast does pretty well with limited contact. Southwest, very physical,
Yeah.
and then you have like the West Coast. It's kind of a mix in between, but definitely Northeast is probably like the least contact area of Quidditch as far as
Mm.
over here.
And why do you think that there's kind of that north-south divide between teams? Like you got all the Texas teams and then those northeastern teams.
It's a good question. I don't know if it just deals with the players that started playing the sport, but like I don't know if it's just because Texas brought that mentality of like the physicalness, and most of them come from rugby or physical sports. Maybe that's part of it, but yeah, I guess it's just the type of players that jumped into the sport. I guess most people in the South play your football, basketball,
Yeah.
baseball, while up north you have more hockey, lacrosse, different sports like that, and football is not like a dominant sport up there. So that might be it. Yeah, that may be.
Yeah, it's good because it adds another tactical element to the game. Like you
Oh
kind of
yes,
know what the opponent's going to come at you with, but then you can't second guess it.
yes, that's very true. Very true.
And then, so do you adapt differently for southern teams versus northern teams?
Um, well, mostly that's where a lot of the film watching, particularly watching film on certain matches and game planning. Something I know some teams do, some teams don't, but yes, coming into games, even if it's the worst team you're playing ever, still coming into that match with a game plan, like kind of having an idea of possible things you want to do on offense, defense, having your subs lined out, like who's subbing in for who, knowing when that person needs to go in. That way, everything runs smoothly on the sideline, and you're not like trying to play the game, come out, figure out who needs to go in, this, that. But like having that system in place that can run for you. That way, all you have to focus on is playing the sport.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'll ask you one last question, which kind of touches a little bit on what we've talked about. So looking at the people coming from different sporting backgrounds and the different elements of Quidditch, if you could put together like your perfect player with maybe a body part from X player and a different body part from Y player, what would that person be basically? What would they look like?
I would have to go with like a freak athlete. That would have to be like 6'2", 6'3", like 200, 200 something pounds and can run quick as I don't know what, because just intimidation and factor alone.
Yeah,
So yeah, but I don't know. That's kind of tough because with Quidditch, it's such a weird sport because even being that big, I mean, all it takes is a buzzer to hit you. Kind of tough to
yeah,
like somebody that can shoot from the other end of the field without missing.
yeah. And so from maybe people you've played with or played against,
Hmm.
if you could take an aspect of those different players and put something together, who would you like take the arm or the cardio or the brain from?
Oh man, it'll be the brain of Augie. I'll say the physicality of my teammate Jacob. Uh,
Who's Jacob, sorry?
Jacob Parker.
Okay.
I would say the the athletic skills of Simone from Texas and an arm. Oh man, I'd say give me an arm of Jackson. I say yeah. I'd say give me an arm of Jackson, and yeah, that would probably be a pretty good mixture. I would say I'd take a guess. It's kind of tough. But yeah, if I had to throw something together, then yeah, I'll take that.
It sounds like quite a scary player.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for taking the time to chat with me. And
Oh,
I'll let you know how things go with the program, and I'll let you see it, and I'll be really interested to see your opinions as well. Um, but yeah, thanks again.
sure. Yeah. No. Need anything? Just hit me up and let me know.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
All right.
See
Are
ya.
you welcome? All right, see you.